Republicans won the White House and will control both the Senate and the House of Representatives in the next legislative session. Current Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has indicated that he will step down at the end of this session, so Republicans will vote on a new majority leader to serve during Trump's next term. So President-elect Trump went to social media recently demanding any new Senate leader agree to help him make recess appointments for his cabinet positions. And at least one potential majority leader, Senator Rick Scott, indicated that he agrees with that. So what are recess appointments and how could the new Senate leader make them possible? Here to discuss it all, we have attorney Matthew Hoffman with Battle-Born Injury Lawyers with us. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. So what is a recess appointment?
Yeah, so in the Constitution, there is literally the recess appointments clause. Think back to when the Constitution was drafted. Congress would maybe be in session 6 months of the year. We're talking horse and buggy time, right? And so what the idea was that the government shouldn't slow down. The executive shouldn't not be able to fill executive branch appointments just because Congress isn't in session. So if there's an extended recess, then you don't need to get approval from the Senate, which you normally do for cabinet positions. Normally, it's nominated by the president and then confirmed by the Senate. And that's where you've seen these famous, Senate confirmation hearings. Hillary Clinton, when she was appointed to Secretary of State under Obama, it was a very contentious Senate hearing where she had to answer some questions about the Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, or you saw that with the last AG under Trump. And then, of course, with the Supreme Court, Kamala Harris became quite famous for her grilling of Justice Kavanaugh. So that's what normally happens, is that you have the confirmation hearings. But if there is a true recess under the Constitution, the president can make the appointments. They don't need the Senate approval or a confirmation process, but they're only confirmed for the length of that legislative session, which is 2 years. And then after the 2 years, they either have to have another recess appointment or have to go through the full confirmation process.
Okay, so do you think the president-elect wants to do this, especially when he's going to have to basically re-up in a couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple reasons. Number one is it's quicker, right? You don't have the lengthy confirmation hearings, which can drag on. But also there's the threat of embarrassment to some of the picks. Like I mentioned with Hillary Clinton, she had to answer a lot of really hard questions that, were sensitive. And with some of his picks, I think he wants to avoid that. Not so much with like Marco Rubio with Secretary of State or some of the others, but Kristi Noem with Homeland Security. What is your experience level? I think I saw Pete Hegseth with really no experience now being in charge of, I think, a Secretary of Defense. And then the big one that hasn't been announced yet is there's been rumors that for Attorney General, he might pick Judge Eileen Cannon. And you can imagine she was the judge over the classified documents case, dismissed it. Was there a quid pro quo where you made promises that why you're doing this? So that's one of the reasons. And then also to take away from the minority party, in this case the Democrats, the ability to grandstand. They make, a lot of people, the minority party can use this to make a name for themselves and to really grill these people in the confirmation process. But is this unusual? No, it's just unusual as of late. It used to be very, very common. Bill Clinton, I think, had 130 some appointments. President George W. Bush had 170 some. President Obama had over 30. And then under Obama, the Supreme Court stepped in because he tried to make a recess appointment with a 3-day recess. They said, no, that's not a real recess. It has to be more than 10 days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I saw John Thune has been now voted as the Senate Majority Leader. I think I just read that before I came in here. So what President Trump's doing is he'd be asking a majority of the Senate and a majority of the House to agree to just go into recess after he's inaugurated. And then on the 11th day, he would start making his picks, and they would be automatically confirmed without a Senate hearing.
Wow, so then the American people don't get to hear from both sides, and that's kind of the reason why they do that, is so everybody can hear who this person is, take them to task if need be on certain issues. And so it sounds like he wants to bypass all of that.
Yeah, and under the auspices of, I just want to get up and running, I want to get this quick. I think there's more to it than that, like I've said. It's not unusual to have recess appointments. It has been in the last couple of administrations. There's been none. None under President Trump before, none under President Biden. But I think, on this one, I've never heard of a president calling on the future leader to go into recess so I can make an appointment. I've never heard of that before. It's a bit unusual. So I think you'll hear some complaints on whether this is appropriate.
All right. Well, thank you so much for breaking down the law for us.